Hello, everyone. We are going to do a presentation over diversity case study. My name is Julia Okongwu.
I'm Ken Chambliss.
I'm Katie Whitney.
I'm Thomas McAvoy.
And I'm Justin Jones.
So to start off, we're going to go over the 7-step equity literary process, which step 1 is identifying the problems or problems. 2 is taking stock of the varying perspectives. 3 is when you consider possible challenges and opportunities. Step 4 is when you imagine equitable outcomes. Step 5 is brainstorming immediate term responses, followed by 6, brainstorming longer term policy and practice adjustments. And step 7 is crafting a plan of action. We're going to cover these in this presentation. The 7-step equity process, literary process, is a framework designed to help individuals and organizations understand, analyze, and address issues related to equity and justice. And by engaging in these processes, we can work towards creating more inclusive and equitable communities. This case presented several interconnected problems. First off, the bullying and the teasing. Now, Timmy's being subjected to bullying and teasing due to his perceived deviation from traditional gender norms. Another problem is gender identity and expression. Timmy's behavior suggested a misalignment of social expectations of his gender, and he gravitated towards girl activities and appearance. The next issue was the school environment and support that was there. There's a lack of supportive and inclusive school environment. Timmy and others like him may feel unsafe to express themselves without ridicule, and teachers' efforts have been basically insufficient. Next up is parental involvement and support. There's a little bit of uncertainty about how Timmy's parents or his mother perceive and support his gender expression. His mother appears to be accepting, but there's a question of if she is fully aware to the extent of the bullying that's going on in the school. Next up is the educational approach issue. Ms. Grover, that's his teacher, recognizes the need to address the issues with an educational approach, but she's unsure of the best way to handle it with sensitivity and effectively, especially since she herself doesn't really understand it. And then lastly, the long-term impact. There's concern about the long-term effects of the bullying on Timmy's well-being and his academic success, as well as the potential for further social isolation and mental health issues as he progresses through school and ages.
So in order to solve the problem at the school or help with the problem, we need to take varying perspectives. And so Timmy, he might feel isolated and confused about what's going on. He expresses himself through things that he's interested in, even though they're, related to girl things. His parents may be supportive, at least his mother seems to be. They have their own beliefs about what's going on with Timmy. They are concerned about his safety and well-being. The perspective of his classmates, some may be accepting and some might be bullying and teasing because they lack the understanding about what's going on with him. The teachers are concerned about Timmy's well-being. Teachers, they know that they need to be supportive and create a more supportive school environment, but they're not really sure how to do that. And the administration is concerned with keeping a positive learning environment while managing the conflict that's going on at the school with the bullying. Some challenges that the school has is addressing the ongoing bullying, educating the staff, the students, parents about gender identity, and then changing the school culture to be more diverse and accepting. But there are some opportunities that go along with that. So with this case being presented, there's education and awareness opportunities. You can engage with the community organizations and look for outside help. Professional development for the staff so they can recognize it, see it, and maybe help a student in need, and provide counseling and mental health support for the students.
Next, we'll look at the equitable outcomes for Timmy so we can foster a supportive environment. Some things we can do is address the root cause of the bullying, get with members of the staff and create and implement a zero tolerance bullying policy, implement programs for students, staff, parents, and discuss gender diversity. We can foster peer and allyship, provide safe space for LGBTQ students, and we can also receive unlimited access to counseling and mental health services for Timmy. Also, we have immediate term responses. We can provide conversation with Timmy where we can express concern, show reassurance, and ask Timmy how he feels. We can stop the bullying, intervene immediately, implement consequences, communicate the seriousness of bullying to other students, and also reiterate the zero tolerance policy. We can have parental notification and involvement. We can notify Timmy's parents about the situation, and we can collaborate as a staff with the parents and provide a plan for Timmy, as well as have school-wide announcements to faculty, staff, and students.
Long-term policy and practices that we could use could obviously come up with a comprehensive anti-bullying policy, something that encompasses the LBGT community. And obviously, we want to make sure that we have clear definitions of what this entails, and also have reporting practices, as well as the consequences that will be given out for these students if they are participating in bullying. Coming up with an inclusive curriculum, that can be something that we can use, obviously revise and look at our new or at our school curriculum to make sure that it's inclusive for the LGBTQ community. Make sure our gender inclusive facilities are up to date. Making sure that the restrooms and locker rooms and things of this nature are all inclusive for all of our students. Being able to provide staff training and support, because even though we're all our adults, there could be some more training that could be used for our staff to help and identify bullying situations for our students. Making sure that our parents are involved not only in their students' education, but also being aware that their students could be in classes with individuals who have a different outlook on life. And parent workshops could be something that could be used there. Obviously, looking at our policies and reviewing those and revising our policies is something that can be used as a long-term policy practice, and then a long-term culture shift. Obviously, being more accepting, giving respect to all individuals, and then be able to celebrate the differences and the diversity within the school community. Next, we go to different plans of actions, because obviously we talk about these things. We definitely want to make sure we can put these plans into action. First, we want to look at the assessment, collect some data, look at our current policies, practices, and climate that's related to the LGBT community, collect that data, make sure we assess the data, and move forward on the way that's going to impact our students. Forming a task force. We definitely want to have different stakeholders there, administrators, teachers, counselors, parents. Those individuals make up all of our community stakeholders. This leads to efforts that allow inclusive activities and understanding for the LGBT community. Once again, we mentioned reviewing and revising our policies. Make sure we have a clear, comprehensive anti-bullying policy with clear objectives and also clear punishments if we do suspect our students are being bullied by their classmates. And all this needs to be safe and inclusive as well. Regularly monitoring and evaluating, our ongoing process that we have here in our school system. Make sure we're collecting feedback from our students, staff, and parents. And this will go a long way in making sure that we are regulating what is going on with our school building. And then lastly, being able to celebrate the diversity of all of our students, whether they're, different races, backgrounds, nationalities, and also obviously anybody's sexual orientation or gender. We want to make sure those things are celebrated, which is going to create opportunities for student-led and community-led conversations, and hopefully a little more acceptance when it comes to individuals who may be a little bit different than we are.
All right, we have a couple of questions towards the end. Timmy's teachers from kindergarten through second grade, despite noticing that he was being teased more and more, chose not to intervene except for quashing the teasing. Should they have done something more, such as educating students about gender identity? We all voted yes. If so, in our opinion, at what age would addressing gender identity issues be appropriate? There are various ages that you can start from early education, kindergarten, elementary. You want to have simplest terms when you are going into, as far as with the early kindergartens and elementary. You want to be unique. You don't want to go too deep into just diversity with the kindergarten and early elementary. Next, you can go to upper elementary. Once again, you got to be very precise of the simple terms and uniqueness. Middle school, you can go a little bit into it as far as just talking about it, visualize age-appropriate language. Second question, how should Ms. Grover broach this conversation with Timmy's parents? Timmy specified that his mom knew he had painted his fingernail. Should Ms. Grover reach out to Timmy's mother specifically? We all voted yes. Unsure about whether his father knew about the situation. Just some things that I would do with the mother and Timmy. I would schedule a private meeting just so we can both collab and talk about different things. As far as her concern, our concern about it, which comes next, express concern and support. We always want to support our parents as well as our student. Inquire about their perspective, how they're feeling about the situation, what Timmy is going home telling them. Share school's approach, as far as the zero bullying policy. Offer resources. I said that earlier, counseling, positive support. We always want to respect our privacy and boundaries. You don't want to go too deep into their private life. And you also want to follow up with Timmy, follow up with the parent, give a phone call about how things are going, and just be in collaboration with one another. Our next question, number 3, consists of, how would you, if you were Timmy's teacher, have responded to the teasing Timmy was experiencing? How would you have reached out to Timmy? Mindful not to draw unwanted attention to him. At that current moment, once the students were bullying him, I would address the behavior immediately. I would communicate, I would intervene promptly to stop the behavior and ensure addressing students engaged in the teasing, reminding them of our zero bullying policy. I would communicate to the class of everyone's unique interests, encourage peer support, collaboration with support services as far as his counselor, hold a private conversation with Timmy after school. I would not do it at that current moment because it will put lights on him and he may feel embarrassed. Bring validation, reassurance out. You always want to reassure the kid that you have their support and you have their back. Number 4 question. Part of Ms. Grover's challenge is that although she wanted to try to make the school a more welcoming place for Timmy, she was unsure of her ability to do so. This led to her to wonder whether it might be safer for Timmy to conform while he is at school. What would you advise Ms. Grover to do? I would educate on why it may not be the best approach as far as going into the situation right then. I will also encourage Ms. Grover to locate the bullying policy, figure out what the school's policy is so you're aware, the school is aware, the teachers and the admin are all on the same page. Encourage professional development, as Joan stated earlier. You want the professional development so you know how to handle it. This is a very unique situation. You don't want to antagonize and make a kid feel like they're not supported. You want to build a supporting network within the parents, the staff, the admin. You want to promote inclusive practices and also create regular check-ins. I said before that you want to check in with Timmy and his parents, make sure they're comfortable. You're aware of what's going on, how Timmy is feeling. As always, as a teacher, you want to always make sure that the student is comfortable. That concludes our presentation. Thank you for listening.